What a performance by Ohio State, right? I mean, that was pretty incredible. They beat them up on the offensive line. Fields was obviously incredible. Let's just go through a couple of things. First and foremost, remember the game plan last year for Ohio State against Clemson was working incredibly well, in particular in that first half. Obviously, the Wade ejection, that derailed them a little bit defensively, but then they had J.K. Dobbins get banged up in the ankle. That derailed them a little bit. They failed in those red zone possessions. I'm not trying to rehash last year. I'm just trying to say they had a great game plan last year, likely would have won without some of those things going against them. So they come out this year, and they had another great game plan against Clemson, and it was ready to go. I have to think to myself, Ryan Day sat around all summer and thought about Clemson and thought, there's a good chance that we're going to see them again, whether it's a national championship or a semifinal. And it seemed like he had prepared for them for months and months and months, not just a couple of weeks. There was new little wrinkles in both their offensive game plan and their defensive game plan. So specifically, real quick on the defensive side, Kerry Combs, the new defensive coordinator there, I thought he did a really brilliant thing. Last year, they sat in the middle of the field with a free safety. Okay, Fuller just sat there, and largely for the majority of this season, they just sat with a free safety. They played with three corners on the field, kind of a nickel defense, three linebackers, three corners, and one safety. And they sat in that middle safety look. And it's a defense that Clemson figured out last year, and they ran Trevor Lawrence. They got to the outside. This year, what you saw was a lot of rotation. They played with a couple of different players out there, and then they rotated them back and forth. And I don't think Clemson was ready for that. Their offensive game plan was not very good, and then it wasn't executed after their first 15 or 16 plays. I think Tony Elliott not being in there as the offensive play caller really hurt them. Then on the offensive side for Ohio State, when you can dominate the line of scrimmage, you will have success, period. Okay, obviously Fields played great, and we'll get to that in a moment. But the absolute foundation to putting up 49 points against a really good team is that your offensive line has got to be dominant, and Ohio State's was. They ran the football on command. They opened up huge holes for Trey Sermon, and that's a dangerous offense because of that offensive line. Now you move to Fields' performance. He was playing insanely good. Then he gets his ribs absolutely crunched, which is going to be the topic of conversation before the championship game against Alabama. But he was brilliant after that. It looked like he couldn't move. I don't know what he took. Well, I'd like some, because he sure came out there and threw some beautiful passes after he got hit down the field, on time, reading through his progression. He wasn't holding the football an extraordinary amount of time like he had been previously in the season. He was throwing those balls deep down. One of them 61 yards in the air. He was absolutely phenomenal. So congratulations to the Buckeyes, to Coach Day. They were fantastic. And someone's got to ask Dabo if that was the 11th ranked team in the country or not. I know why he did it. I get it. But he didn't have to, right? Like, it's pretty clear they weren't the 11th ranked team in the country. You're like, well, they only played 6 games. Give me a break. I think Dabo Swinney provided a lot of locker room material, a lot of bulletin board material, and the Buckeyes played like it. So congratulations to the Buckeyes. Cannot wait for this national championship game. I think it's going to be high scoring, and it's going to be fantastic. And let's all hope that Justin Fields is okay and he's 100% for that game, because this sport deserves it, and these are the two best teams in the country. Can't wait to watch them tangle.
Everything we did is good.